Hello, hello. In this video, I'm going to break down the 4 philosophies that Cal Newport talks about in his Deep Work book. So this is in part 2, chapter 1, or chapter 4. It's in his chapter titled Work Deeply in part 2 of the book. Now, the first part of the book is basically, he explains how he's just trying to convince you about how deep work is a real thing, and he's trying to teach you what it is and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really think that it's necessary to make a video on that because I believe it's true, and you just gotta trust me on this one that it's real. It makes sense. I can't see why anyone would be like, no, deep work isn't real. Well, deep work is real, and it's a great tool that you should be using. So he's broken it down into 4 philosophies. That's what he calls it. It could also be called 4 methods into doing deep work. You can choose which one suits the best for you. Anyway, the first one that Cal Newport talks about in the book, he likes to call it the monastic philosophy. This is basically where you just try and absolutely eliminate every single distraction that there is. I'm talking delete social media, remove your phones, computers, or just absolutely go complete monk mode and just live like that. So that philosophy is a really hardcore kind of one where you're just totally living like this, and that's the way you live, and that's just how your life is. The second philosophy or method is called the bimodal philosophy. And this one I like the sound of. It's more used in it, and it's like the monastic philosophy, but instead of you constantly living like this could be something that you do for a 2 or 3 week period. An example of this is Bill Gates, and he did these things that he calls think weeks, and he just goes out into a cabin in the woods, and he literally just goes full on, and he just thinks about what he has to do. An example of something that he's created from his think weeks is that he's figured out that he wants his business, he wants the internet to be a heavy part in Microsoft, and that is how it's became the great business that it is today, and how he's made that much money. So the bimodal philosophy is when you just go on a retreat to maybe a cabin somewhere, or you just book a hotel, you take your books and all the stuff you need with you, and you just go full focused deep work, just literally hyper on your work, and then you get a bunch of stuff done, and then you go back to the life that you were living. And that one is a pretty good one. That's one that I'll definitely be doing, one that I already do. It's a great tool that everyone should use. His next philosophy, he calls it the rhythmic philosophy. This is something that I say it actually works well with the bimodal one for when you're away from your retreat and you're actually just living a normal life. This is where you sort of get in a routine to do it, and I like to use this thing called a habit tracker. I can make a video on how to make a habit tracker for you. It's pretty easy. It's really simple. You just write down the things at the top. Yeah, actually I don't need to make a video. I'll just explain it in this one. Basically, this is my habit tracker. So what I have at the top is the things that I want to do. This one's really basic for me. I was doing a more complex one, but to be real with you guys, I sort of fell off for a bit, and everything was just falling apart because I just went really hardcore. I just had so much stuff going on, and then I got sick, and then I got sick again, and it just completely fell apart. So what I've done is I've dialed it back a little bit, and now I'm everything's coming again. So you're gonna miss a few days on this thing. It's not gonna be 100% perfect, but basically all you have to do is write the days down the side, the habits that you want to do. I recommend just doing meditate, read, gratitude journal, and fitness. Those are just perfect. They work really well, and you can seriously get a good benefit in your life if you were just starting out. Anyway, when you do the thing, if you meditate, you tick it. If you read, you tick it. If you write, I'm grateful for my pen. Anything, absolutely anything for gratitude journaling. Fitness, you could either do a big workout or just do like 10 push-ups in your room. Anything counts. You don't want it to be too intense, especially if you are just starting out. And then when you do it, you just tick it. If you don't do it, you just leave it blank or do a cross. And yeah, it's not going to be perfect, so don't just be too like pissed off, feeling sorry for yourself, throwing it away when you get it done, because this is a great accountability thing. If you've like, I'll show you, I'll just stand up. On this day, I didn't meditate, and I was like kind of pissed off with myself, and that's what you want to do. Instead of feeling sorry and just ripping it away and hiding it. I know you want to do it, I want to do it, everyone wants to do it. Instead of just doing that, just keep it there and use it as accountability. Get like some sort of aggressiveness in you and like, you know what, I'm not going to miss another meditation again. It's not happening 2 days in a row. Or if it did happen 2 days in a row, say, you know what, not happening 3 days in a row. And just use that to, you know, get yourself motivated and hyped up to actually do the good task. Anyway, back to deep work. So he explains this rhythmic philosophy, and that's when you get into like a routine of doing something. He calls it a chain. He also explained in it that he had like a calendar and he would like stick it up on his wall, and when he would do the task that he wanted, like the task that he was hyper focused on, he would cross it out, and then he would get like a streak or a chain of doing it, and then all the thing that you have to focus it on is not breaking that chain. And that's a great way to build habits. It's a great way to break and build habits. It's just a wonderful thing to do. If you don't do it already, I highly recommend that you start doing it either with the calendar or with a habit tracker. I'll make a video on how to do it, even though I just explained, but I'll go more in depth. I'll like draw it out for you. I'll set it up, and it'll be exactly like how to do it. All you have to do is watch it and absolutely replicate what I do. It's pretty easy. The final philosophy or method that he talks about, and this one he said it's like the hardest one to master. This one's like really hard to do. It's called the journalistic philosophy, right there. And this one is, it's not something that I personally do every day. Some days I'm forced into doing it. Hopefully you don't have to live like that, but journalistic philosophy is basically, you don't have these routines, you don't have these habit trackers, or you don't have these massive weeks of doing stuff. It's basically where every single chance that you get to do deep work, you are doing deep work. So an example that he gave is one of the, I don't remember who it was, but there was this scientist, and he was like watching a TV show with his family or something, eating dinner, and he literally got up, went to his room, and he just like hyper focused and working on this study and paper that he was doing for like 30 minutes, and then he just came back and finished watching the thing. That one, you need a lot of discipline to do that. It's very hard to do it, as explained, but if you can master it, you can like do a lot of work in a short amount of time, just from every single chance that you get, just by going in, throwing every distraction you can away, and just hyper focused into it. So those are the 4 philosophies that he explained. They also 4 methods. Very good information in this book. Highly recommend you get it. I'll have it linked in the description. Habit trackers, haven't made it already, definitely recommend you do it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.